Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the ever-changing world of technology? Tech It Out can help make some sense of it all. Breaking down geek speak into street speak, technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman covers consumer technology each week for every listener. Mark tackles the latest news, reviews, and how-tos to help you understand what's hot, what's not, and why.
Hey everyone, welcome to Tech It Out. It's episode 393. Gonna have to do something big for the 400th episode, maybe a big giveaway or something. Stay tuned for that. Now that we're well into May, I hope you're all doing fantastic. And thank you for making Tech It Out a small part of your day today. And we do have a stellar show planned for you this hour, if I may say so myself, with three great guests. We're going to kick things off with TCL, a company best known for its TVs. And you know, the company is really crushing it. So we're going to chat in about 60 seconds from now with a TCL evangelist for the brand about what's new from the company, what to look for in a new TV across the board, what features are important, and I'll also ask him how well TCL is doing in North America. I think they've recently hit some impressive milestones. After that, ADT will join us to talk about what's new in home security and smart home convenience, both of which are super hot topics. And so we'll chat with ADT. We'll get the 411 on that. And finally, I had a guest on back in March, and I received a lot of feedback from Tech It Out listeners about the device his company is giving away for free. The product is called SPARQ, and it's one of those small onboard diagnostics devices for your vehicle. It plugs into your OBD port near your steering wheel, and it tells you a ton of info about what's happening with your vehicle before any problems arise. And it's all handled via a companion app. You can even take a picture or upload audio to the app of something going on, and it'll diagnose it for you. Wild. It uses AI. SPARQ is giving these away for free, and so I'm going to replay my interview towards the end of Tech It Out today. And SPARQ is normally $500, by the way, so I'm going to ask them why they're giving it away for free as well. All of this and more on an all-new Tech It Out, powered by Visa. Securing the world's payments is priority one. I'll tell you more about Visa's anti-fraud efforts shortly, but let's officially kick off the show with our first interview. Walk through the aisles of your local big box store, and when you get to the TV section, it can be pretty overwhelming with all the different televisions offered. And so how do you choose one that suits your needs and budget? What should you look for in a new television? What features are important? To answer these questions and others, we're joined by Bruce Walker. He's TCL's product evangelist. Welcome to the show, Bruce. Good to chat with you.
Great. Thank you for having me, Mark. I'm very excited to be here.
Awesome. Now, before we talk about what to look for in a new TV, please tell us a bit about TCL.
Yeah, so we're very excited to have such success in North America. Really, one of the secret sauces to TCL, if you could sum it up into two words, is really vertical integration, meaning we make all the major components that go into a TV set we manufacture. And that gives our consumers quite a bit of benefits. First and foremost, it saves the cost. We're not paying a middleman markup for panels and chassis and things like that. It's also a great technology story because we make all of our own stuff. We know everything's going to work together, and we'll get a little bit nerdier in a second about the technology, and it really gives the customer the value. Been in the United States since 1981, been in exciting areas of growth for us, particularly in the past several years.
Yeah, congrats. Can you quantify that growth?
Yeah, one of the most recent things that was very exciting for us is at CES this past January, Circana, the main data company for our industry, announced that we were North America's fastest growing TV brand. And that's really exciting, and even more exciting when you consider that we've been number 2 in North America in unit sales for the past 6 years in a row. So it was one thing to be the fastest growing when we were number 15, but to be the fastest growing when we've been number 2 for 6 years in a row is really amazing. The other part that I'm very proud of is we're actually announced that we were number 3 in revenue in North America, and we went from number 5 to number 3. And that's telling us that not only are people buying lots of TCL TVs, but they're buying bigger TVs from us and better TVs from us.
No doubt that's one of the big trends in 2025. Bigger TV. Yeah. So for sure. Yes. And I know TCL also makes smartphones. They make tablets. Speaking of CES, I looked at the Next Paper tablet that doubles as an e-reader. So it's got that matte finish with grayscale that you can read outside and all that. And I also saw the company more recently at Mobile World Congress. You guys had a huge booth there. So yeah, it's not just TVs. All that being said, let's chat about what to look for in a new TV. Where should people start? Is it always budget, or what about wall size?
It's obviously the The budget's going to be the overriding concern, but in terms of what we found the driver is nowadays, it's screen size. People want bigger TV sets. When you're seeing big shift in premium first run content being shown streaming and things like that, people are just getting bigger TVs and they're becoming more affordable. They're becoming, most of our retail partners are offering great services to get these giant TVs into customers' houses. So if you really look where the growth in the market is, it's in that 75-inch and up screen size category. And then, obviously from there, depending on the customer's needs, part of our story has always been the value story. But so TCL, we offer everything from some of the most value-priced, achievable giant screen TVs to some of the leading technology giant screen TV sets. But really, it starts with size and then finding out where they want to go from there.
Fair. We want to replicate that movie theater experience in the home, Absolutely. I think, now more than ever. And it doesn't always have to be a projector. TVs Correct. Are now getting much, much bigger. It's crazy that you can get like a 75-inch TV for under, like $800.
In 2025, we're going to offer 9 different 98-inch TVs for customers at any point during the year. It's amazing.
It can also be confusing not just to pick a brand to invest in, but also the screen technology seems to vary. We had LCD, which evolved into LED. We've seen OLED televisions, then QLED or quantum dot technology, then micro LED. It can make your head spin. What technology or what panel technology does TCL offer and why?
Sure. Yeah. So what I'm going to cover over the next 4 hours is
you have your PowerPoint all ready to go.
Exactly. Our being vertically integrated, we make OLED panels primarily for smaller devices, things like that. But really, the power of what we do is with our LED technologies. So it's that panel manufacturing. We've invested $38 billion in panel manufacturing recently. Our newest panel manufacturing facility is 260 acres in size, and it's really what customers want because you get with a premium LED-based TV, we call them our QD mini LED TVs. You get the brightest pictures that are out there. You get incredible contrast. And really, to sum up the technology, what customers are looking for, or can be looking for, it's color, clarity, and contrast, the 3 C's of picture quality. And the LED TVs, the QD mini LED TVs that TCL offer give really the best combination of performance and value in those 3 areas of picture performance.
Okay, so these are LED backlit TVs.
Correct.
Do they have things like local dimming?
Our newest launch this year is our Precise Dimming Series TVs, which incorporates currently 3 different series of TVs. And then we're going to have some more exciting stuff throughout the year. But all the TVs offer various levels of local dimming, which, again, tech talk to street talk, I think was the phrase you used.
Breaking down geek speak into street speak.
Geek speak to street speak. I was close. With local dimming, it's the only way an LED TV can have the blackest blacks and whitest whites on screen at the same time. And when we talk about that backlight technology, and again, to keep it simple, the backlights, because you can see a picture on the TV that you're looking at, it's because there's a backlight shining through the TV, through the LCD layer. There's a whole new backlight technology that TCL is designing, engineering, and manufacturing all ourselves in-house. Again, that's another part of that vertical integration, that the technology component, and we're calling it our Halo control system. Everything from soup to nuts on that backlight system is TCL, again, designed, manufactured, engineered all by us. And it's really bringing everything from a new level of premium picture performance to a lower price point than we've ever had, to new TVs that are coming out. They're going to be the biggest and brightest TVs we've ever offered. So if you see Precise Dimming Series on a TV, if you see QD Mini LED when the customer's shopping for TVs, that's going to be kind of the hallmark of exceptional performance in 2025.
We're chatting with Bruce Walker. He is TCL's product evangelist. He may be preaching to the choir because TCL is so popular, but if you haven't yet seen the brand's TVs at retail or at a friend's place, I encourage you to do so. And yeah, we're going to now pivot and talk about a couple of models that you could recommend, something maybe new for the summer. How you use your TV may vary. If you're a gamer, you probably want more speed. If you love streaming, then you may want a smarter TV platform with app support and all that. Is there a certain model series that we should know about?
Yeah, I mean, we're doing a lot of, we're carrying over, continuing and doing some polishing on our entry-level products. The exciting stuff that as a a fellow evangelist of the technologies, again, with that precise dimming series. Early in the year, we launched our QM6 series. Just recently, we launched our QM7 series, which is the next step up. And they've got everything from great screen sizes, from a moderate 50 to 55 inch screen size, all the way up to our QM7s available in a wall-devouring 115-inch screen size. And those are the TVs that are going to give you that picture performance that you're looking for. From a gaming point of view, again, they're going to have everything that the latest gamers are demanding. And as the official, TV of Call of Duty, those are very demanding users that are out there. So we know our TVs are going to perform well. And then on the other end of the spectrum, we're a huge sports company. We're the official TV partner of the NFL. So we know that the NFL works very hard to make their games look the best they can. And for them to trust us to make their games look the best they can is very exciting for us. But that QM6 and QM7 series of TVs are very exciting for us this year.
And then finally, let's chat about where to learn more. What kind of retail support are we talking, or do you just recommend people to head on over to TCL.com?
Yeah, we've got all the major retailers in North America. We are there. Obviously, recommend you go to TCL.com, and that has all the latest information on all of our models. You've got a great bunch of blog posts that are out there. And go into a place called Ask Bruce and see if you've got any technology questions. We can be there to answer. Well, but TCL.com is a great place to start doing your research.
Great. And I'm glad that we were able to ask Bruce some TV-related questions over the last 10 minutes. Thank you very much for your time, Bruce.
Mark, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Anything else I can do to help, please let me know.
Thank you. Again, TCL.com for more. When we return on Tech It Out, we're going to catch up with ADT to learn what's new in home alarm systems and smart home conveniences. And the two actually go hand in hand, as we'll learn. So stick with us. More Tech It Out coming right up after this short break.
Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want. Find the Tech It Out podcast at iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Tech It Out. ADT has been around a long time, like we're talking 1874, when the Baltimore company was registered as American District Telegraph, or ADT for short. But you wouldn't know that they were more than 150 years old, as they're very high tech by today's standards. Joining us to share what's new and newsworthy in home alarms and smart home gear, we've got on the line with us Gilles Drieu, Chief Technology Officer at ADT. Welcome to the show, Gilles. Good to talk to you.
Hello, Mark. Happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Now, before we start, I should tell you that some of my listeners are perhaps more interested in securing their home, while others are keen on adding smart home conveniences. But I know ADT plays in both of those spaces, even though they're not mutually exclusive. There are some devices like door locks that are both convenient and secure. Just to be clear, ADT is not just an alarm company.
Yes, that's right. And it's a great point. I mean, a lot of people still think of ADT as just a traditional alarm company. And I get that. But over the past few years, we really evolved. We've been building something that meets both needs, the peace of mind and the convenience. For instance, our ADT Plus latest product offering, we call that our platform, was designed from the ground up. And we started a few years ago. We deployed it last year nationally. And it brings the smart and the secure together in one seamless experience. So not as two separate systems or bolt-ons, but as a unified, thoughtful setup that's easy to use. And of course, as you know, our partnership with Google has helped us push that even further, right? We've taken ADT's, as you mentioned, 150 years experience in home security and combined it with the Google's best-in-class smart home technology. So you get the best of both worlds in that case. I actually came to ADT after over 2 decades in the Silicon Valley. I worked for Apple. I spent 10 years at Google, where I worked on Nest and the Matter standard. Not to speak too much geeks, but it's like the way the smart home devices talk with each other. And that's called Matter. And of course, as you know, Google has the Google Home devices, Chromecast, and also all the Google Nest devices. So I worked on that. And so I've seen firsthand what it takes to build systems that are both smart and also user-friendly. And that's what we're doing here, making sure everything works together simply. At the end of the day, we're not just aiming for smart or secure. We're focused on smart home security. Let's be honest. I mean, people don't want to choose between safety and convenience. They want both, and that's what we're delivering.
Right. No trade-offs. So with that in mind, would it be fair to say that a regular home alarm system today, a keypad near the door kind of thing, is not really enough in 2025? Maybe you could talk to us a bit about that, including AI-driven security. Does that imply cameras and things like that? Sensors?
It's a great question. So a traditional alarm system with a keypad still does its job. It gives you basic protection. But these days, we can do a lot more with the help of AI. So with ADT Plus, we are layering in smart features that make the system more aware of what's happening around your home, inside and in the surroundings. For example, motion detection that knows the difference between your dog, a person, or just a car driving by. That means fewer false alarms and also a system that responds better to real situations. And yes, features like facial recognitions are part of that too. We use it in a very lightweight way, like in our Trusted Neighbor feature. So I mentioned earlier ADT Plus platform and products that we deployed last year. And on top of that platform, now that we have full control over the software and the hardware, we can have services built on top of that. And Trusted Neighbor is the first of the kind. That's when you can get a clear idea of who is coming, thanks to AI, who is coming and going around your house as well. And we can talk more about that if you want.
Yeah, let me ask you, please, a bit more about Trusted Neighbors, as it's called, which is part of your ADT Plus platform, as you mentioned. So is this kind of like Neighborhood Watch, but a more modern day version of it, where you're leveraging technology to help keep an eye on not just your home, but your neighbors, like your community?
You can see it this way. In fact, Trusted Neighbor is a modern take on something we've all done, right? Giving a key to someone we trust. Except now, instead of hiding a spare key under the mat, you can securely grant temporary access through the ADT Plus app and the ADT Plus system. So it's perfect for things like package deliveries, checking on pets, or letting a friend in while you're away to water the plants, or even if you have an alarm like a water leak, you can notify your friend through this feature, and they can come in and resolve the problem, whatever that might be. So it combines AI-powered verifications from the Nest cameras or doorbells with the Yale smart locks. Right? So it's safe, convenient, and totally key-free. So it's not just a new feature. It reflects how we are thinking about community and access to your point earlier, in a smart home environment. We are making it easier to let the right people in and keep everyone else out. And you can also select the entry method. We just released this week, in partnership with Yale, and also we partner with the ZeroWave Alliance, a new touch lock. So with the power of just your fingerprint, you can enable someone in a very, very secure way to unlock your door if you allow them to do so.
Yeah, I like the convenience of biometrics, using a part of your body to identify you securely in order to grant access to your home. So whether it's facial recognition, or we've seen palm scanning with some of these door locks, or fingerprint, as you said, it's just so much more convenient than even having to remember a code, let alone a mechanical key, so long as it's still secure. Right. And so when you pair that with a camera and an app where even if you're not at home, you can see who's at your door, not to mention timestamps and all that, then I think you're going to have the trust that consumers want in order to enable these features.
Exactly. That's very well said.
We're going to continue chatting with ADT after this short break to learn more about some of their latest products and services. After that, a free onboard diagnostics device to analyze your car, normally $500. We're going to get to that later in the show. We'll be right back with more Tech It Out.
Want to follow Mark? Google him. Mark with a C and Saltzman with a Z. Breaking down geek speak into street speak. This is Tech It Out. Tech It Out with technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. We are chatting with Gilles Drieu. He is CTO of ADT. a 151-year-old company that is not resting on its laurels. They've got a lot of technology to help keep your home, its contents, and most importantly, your family safe. So you talked a bit about ADT's partnership with Google, where you used to be employed. This is obviously a company that has all kinds of Wi-Fi thermostats. They've got video doorbells, cameras, all that kind of thing. Do you offer this as a suite to ADT customers? And please tell us a bit more about the Matter platform. I think it's a term that not many people are familiar with, but essentially it facilitates a secure connection between devices, even from different companies, and makes it easy to all set up and work together and communicate with one another.
That's totally fair. When it was created originally a few years ago now, the premise of it was, well, instead of working each in a silo and develop, let's say, Google Nest, Google Assistant powered devices and Alexa powered devices and so on and so forth, and then and Siri devices, and you're kind of locked in the system, and now you have to continue to buy smart home devices within that ecosystem that are only compatible with those smart assistants. The idea was, well, we can win together and let's focus on the customer experience. And Matter initially was called Chip, which was the code name, but now evolved into Matter. And it's exactly what it does. It's like, if you are compliant with Matter as a standard, which is a communication protocol between all these smart devices, it does not matter if you, no pun, by the way.
I was going to say, good one.
It's a little easy, but if you start, let's say, with an Apple device or a Google device or an Amazon device or Hub, and you want to add a smart switch or other types of smart home devices, as long as they are Matter compliant, the promise of that standard is that you can just keep adding to your house, and there's a compatibility. You can look at it as very long time ago. I use that analogy that may be a bit ancient, but I'll use it anyways. Printers used to have their own language. So you would buy a printer, you would be locked into this. And then once upon a time, PostScript was invented, and all printers talked about that language. And all of a sudden, everything became much more compatible and fluid. So it's exactly the same idea. Open standards usually always win. Same for the web 15 years ago with HTML5.
Got it. Yeah, that all makes sense to me. Thank you. And so you don't have to stick with, for example, only Apple products or only Alexa-enabled Amazon devices or only Google. If it's Matter compliant, then you can play the field. You can invest in different companies like Yale, for example, with their smart locks, because they all work together, talk to one another, and remain secure, which is really, again, something I keep hammering, but I know it's a major concern among many of my listeners. As they want to adopt more smart home tech, they don't want it at the expense of privacy or security. Gilles, you talked a bit about what's new from ADT. Maybe you can expand on some of the new solutions you've got as part of the ADT Plus platform coming this summer.
Yes, absolutely. I made a reference to our new touch lock, the Yale Azure Lock 2. That's the touch, which is it's a Z-Wave. So we talked about Matter, but we also support another communication protocol between smart home devices, which is called Z-Wave. It's been existing for a long, long time, and ADT has been really at the forefront of adopting and embracing that format. There's actually an extension of it called Z-Wave Long Range. So this way, devices can be farther apart and still talk to each other, which is very, very powerful. So this week, we announced the release of this new lock, which is a biometrics touch lock, what I call fingerprints earlier. And that's a great extension to not only our ADT Plus platform, but also the Trusted Neighbor offering, where now you can subscribe to Trusted Neighbor and install that lock, and it becomes even easier to have this touch-driven entry method. Our partnership with Yale, and of course, we just talked about our a very strong partnership with Google, has enabled us to develop these solutions. When it comes to this new product, we also partner with the Z-Wave Alliance. And it's really a great example of convenience meeting security. We can unlock your door, as I said, with a fingerprint. And at the same time, it can arm or disarm your ADT Plus system, depending on whether you're coming or going. So this smart lock is the first and currently the only lock to integrate with something we call, and that's a little bit geek talk here, but it's called a Z-Wave User Credential Command Class. And so we just talked about privacy and security, but we've been able to innovate deeply at the technical level with the Z-Wave Alliance and Yale to create a lock based on this extension of the Z-Wave standard. And so what it means really concretely is that with just an authorized fingerprint, users can unlock and disarm disarm or lock and rearm their ADT system through the seamless integration with Yale Touch Lock, basically.
Yeah, see, I like that because currently in my home, I have two separate apps, one for my home alarm company. So if I forget to set the alarm, for example, and I've left my home, I can remotely set it, which is convenient. And then for my smart lock, which is just an off-the-shelf kind of model, I have a separate app for that. So I like that you're integrating the two together. Again, convenience is key so long as security is not compromised. Love that. And then that leads me to my last question, Gilles. If I'm not mistaken, with ADT, you don't just buy these things sort of off the shelf and install it yourself. Is that fair? It's not a DIY arrangement. If that's the case, do you have an ADT professional come in and assess, and then you can decide what products you want? Can you walk us through the process?
Yes, that's correct. It's very simple. You can head to adt.com, our website, and you can explore everything we offer. We actually support both types of customers. Those who want to do it themselves, right? So we have a self-setup offering as well. And also some of our users prefer a professional setup, which is really convenient as well. So our self-setup system is designed for easy and guided installation. And of course, we also offer a full service installation. So for a full install with all the sensors, so that can be a huge time saver. And there's also some installation for some sensors where our technicians have all the savviness and long-standing expertise on where to install things in the most optimum way. Whatever your comfort level is, that's a way to get started. I will add that our ADT Plus system and platform has been designed completely to support both the DIY and also the DIFM mode.
I like that option because I write a lot for aging adults. I write for AARP, and I love the movement of aging in place, as it's called. How do we allow our loved ones to live longer at home independently? And technology plays a key role here. And I like that you could have professional installation and all that instead of requiring the person to have to know how to do all this themselves. So it's good to have options. So it's simply ADT.com. And that's where they'll find pricing. And there's presumably a subscription service with this, especially as it's an alarm system too.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Gilles, great to chat with you. Very insightful. Congrats on all these new innovations with a company that's been around since 1870s. Amazing.
Thank you very much, Mark. Thanks for having me.
An onboard diagnostics device that can analyze your car for free. You'll hear all about it when we return on Tech It Out and why the company is giving away this $500 device at no cost. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Breaking down geek speak into street speak. Tech It Out, hosted by Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. We cover cybersecurity a lot on this program and how you can best protect yourself in the digital age, even if you're not super tech savvy. One part of the solution is securely shopping online. And so I'm thrilled about my partnership with Visa on Tech It Out, as they've made some significant investments in fraud prevention over the past 5 years, as much as $10 billion. Yes, that's billion with a B, to support Visa's brand promise to protect the financial information of individuals and businesses. Zero liability means peace of mind when you shop online using your Visa card. There can be no half measures when it comes to cybersecurity, which is why the company takes an aggressive and multi-layered approach to combating the rising threat of malicious software and other threats by well-funded and global criminal enterprises. Read more about Visa and how securing the world's payments is priority one at visa.com/security. That's visa.com/security. Vehicle owners, listen up. Wouldn't it be great to easily diagnose your car or truck's health before any costly repairs were needed? Well, this is precisely what SPARQ Diagnostics aims to help with. It's an AI-powered car health monitor that may prevent expensive service work. Joining me on the line to explain how it works and why they're giving it away for free is Daniel Nieh. He's co-founder of SPARQ. Great to have you on the show, Daniel. Thanks for your time today.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me here.
Now, before we talk about the solution, tell us what the problem is when it comes to car maintenance or car issues.
You know, Mark, a lot of times what we realize, especially with vehicle ownership, is that car owners nowadays, they just don't have enough information or even access to the tools to gather them enough information to know about what's wrong with their vehicles. A lot of the car owners almost have no options but to rely on a third party, for example, a mechanic's opinion on what they should do with their vehicle without much of an external due diligence.
And it's not just the who, like where you need to take it to an expert to diagnose it, but it's also the when is the issue. Often after the problem has started, it could be too late, right? At that point.
Exactly. It could be either too late by the time that you realize the problem, by the time a car owner realized the problem, or they could just not know where to even begin with to diagnose the problem, or who should they go to for the ultimate truth.
So with that in mind, what does SPARQ Diagnostics do?
So SPARQ Diagnostics is a device that can turn your car into an AI. It allows your car to directly communicate with you about what it needs based on how you drive, as well as the vehicle that you drive. At any given moment, car owners will be able to perform more than 50,000 independent inspections on their vehicle without ever needing to go to a dealership or mechanic shops again.
And this device, it plugs into your car's OBD port. Is that what it's called? The onboard diagnostics port, which most vehicles have, right? Is it usually just to the bottom left of the steering column? Is that fair?
That is correct. Most of the OBD port, if not majority of the OBD port with existing vehicles, are located at the lower left of the steering wheel. Starting with vehicles after 1996, we're currently fully compatible with vehicles 2010 and newer, but it is part of our roadmap to expand support all the way down to 1996.
All right, so the SPARQ Diagnostics device, and how big is it, by the way? It works with virtually all cars and models, like make and models, after 2010.
Correct. Fully compatible with 2010 and newer, and then we're expanding support all the way down to 1996. It is about the size of an AirPods, if people are familiar with the size of how big the AirPod is, but it's quite a small form factor. All you have to do is plug SPARQ Diagnostics into your OBD2 port, and through SPARQ's app, our simple interface, you can talk to your car directly. You can perform more than 50,000 independent inspections on your vehicle, and with additional new features that we're planning on releasing in the upcoming months.
It's the size like of an AirPod earbud, or the case?
The case.
Okay.
Yep.
That's still very small. And that plugs in. And I was going to ask you how it works. And is it easy for a non-techie person to figure this out? And then the interface, there's no screen on the device. Does it wirelessly talk to your phone?
Correct. It wirelessly talks to your phone. So every single information that you'll need, we break it down into very simple and plain English that anybody who's got the literacy will be able to understand what a certain code means. We break it down into plain English. We tell you exactly, for example, instead of P0400 code, we say, well, the app will tell you that cylinder number 4 is misfiring, and give you a recommendation on what you should do to get it serviced or get it repaired, and within what mileage or what time frame before it becomes a more severe issue.
Does it work, Daniel, with both EVs and ICE vehicles, combustion engine, like gas vehicles?
So SPARQ Diagnostics, we currently only support ICE and hybrid vehicles. We're working on expanding support into EVs because EVs are very different.
We are chatting with Daniel Nieh. He's co-founder of SPARQ. They are the folks behind SPARQ Diagnostics. It's a device that you plug into your vehicle's OBD port in order to diagnose the health of the vehicle so you can act on it in plain English via the SPARQ app. And SPARQ, by the way, is SPARQ. We'll talk pricing in a moment. There's a bit of a surprise there. But speaking of smartphones, Daniel, tell us how you can snap a photo of the dashboard warning light or upload sound like a weird engine noise to the app. Is that right?
That is correct.
And Daniel will elaborate when we return. Before that, though, I wanted to give a quick shout out to SanDisk. They make extraordinary flash-based storage solutions, whether it's for fun, like for gaming, for your PlayStation, your Xbox, your Nintendo Switch, for your PC, or if you're a content creator, you shoot video in the field, or you're a podcaster or a photographer, blogger, what have you, you can rely on SanDisk storage, whether it's solid state drives, USB thumb drives, or micro SD cards. There's always great sales on these high capacity and super durable drives. If you go to sandisk.com, you'll see what I'm talking about. But when we return, more with SPARQ and how to get that free onboard diagnostics device. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Follow Mark Saltzman on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Listen to Check It Out whenever you want.
Couple more minutes left with Daniel Nieh, co-founder of SPARQ, a company that's giving away its SPARQ Diagnostics. It plugs into that little onboard diagnostics port near your car's steering wheel to diagnose your vehicle for free. It's normally $500. Before the break, Daniel, I was asking about the app and how, from what I understand, you can record audio, for example, what your engine sound is making, or a photo of something on your dashboard and upload it to the app. And that will also help diagnose any issues. Is that right?
That is correct. So we released SPARQ AI to the public during our keynote event a few weeks ago. Essentially, what you're able to do, or what any car owner and any of our users is capable of doing is, for example, if there is a check engine light that is presented on your vehicle, all you have to do is within our app, take a photo of that check engine light. What that does is it will run a real-time diagnostics as well as analysis on that check engine light to figure out what's wrong with your vehicle. And let's say if you start your vehicle and you hear a weird sound that is abnormal from your everyday driving, all you have to do is to record that sound within the app, and our AI will be able to identify based on the frequency as well as the rhythm of the sound to categorize with our sample set to see what and to identify and diagnose what that particular sound problem is. So we can identify whether that be a misfire or a crankshaft issue, things of that nature.
That's really cool. I haven't heard of AI determining based on a photo or a sound what the vehicle issue might be. That's kind of unique. But I think there are other devices like SPARQ Diagnostics, things that plug it, like little doohickeys that plug into the OBD port to diagnose the vehicle. What makes SPARQ unique?
Well, OBD2 scanners, they're nothing new on the market. They've been in the market. The platform's, been in existence for a very long time. And what makes us different really is our ability to aggregate a lot of these fragmented devices into a cohesive ecosystem. For example, one of the things that we are the most comprehensive on with our scanning or with our ability to diagnose vehicle issues, we are by far the most comprehensive consumer scanner on the market. A lot of times, instead of needing to purchase a commercial grade scanner that mechanic shop and dealership uses that costs about anywhere between $5,000 to $15,000, you can have the same capabilities within a single device from SPARQ.
And speaking of which, another unique or differentiating feature, it seems, is the price. When this was a Kickstarter campaign, correct me if I'm wrong, you were selling this for $500, but
correct.
You're now giving it away for free, the SPARQ Diagnostics device? And
correct.
If so, how can you do that? What's the thinking behind that?
Absolutely. The reason, Mark, that we believe we are in a position for us to give away the devices for free is because after our initial debut at LA Auto Show back in November 2024, we realized the market response as well as the audience in need for a device like SPARQ. And our goal really is to help and support the everyday driver by giving the devices away for free and having them pay for shipping if they purchase it online. But that's how confident we are with our product is we believe that the everyday driver, regardless of what income category they're in or what kind of vehicle that they drive, they should deserve to have the ultimate truth about their vehicle before heading into a mechanic. So they know exactly what is required for their car instead of relying on a third party or needing to establish a long-term relationship that usually takes years to build with a mechanic.
That's very generous of you, but it's not sustainable. When you do start charging for it, how much do you think it'll be? And what's the best website for our listeners to learn more or take advantage of your giveaway?
Anybody can go on the website. It's our website is Join SPARQ, www.joinsparq.com to obtain their free device. It is a limited promotion that we're offering for the device giveaway. Mm-hmm. But when that promotion ends, what's going to happen is the device will continue to retail for $499. We charge a one-time fee for the purchase. So you purchase the device outright. You don't need to pay for, none of our users will ever be required to pay for a subscription or annual fee for the device or for the software. Nothing that they need to pay for to upgrade it as well to access certain features. And the most important part is we don't monetize on our users' data.
Yeah, that's one question I didn't ask you is about the data you collect, and because I know a lot of people are concerned about privacy these days. So that's all great to hear,
correct.
Daniel. So join SPARQ.com, and SPARQ is SPARQ. I wish you much success on this device. It sounds great. I'm looking forward to trying it myself. Thanks again for your time today, Daniel. All the best.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mark. Thanks for having us.
And thank you for tuning into Tech It Out, whether it's on your local talk radio station or in podcast form. Happy to have you along. If you want to reach out on social media, just do a search for my name, Mark Saltzman, MarcSaltzman. Huge thank you to Visa for your support on Tech It Out. It was awesome to visit the company in San Francisco last Wednesday. I hope you all have a fantastic week ahead, and I look forward to catching up with you next weekend for another brand new episode of Tech It Out, recorded from Italy. Looking forward to chatting with you then. Bye-bye for now. Ciao.